When morning shows her first faint flush, I think of the tender blush that crept so gently to your cheek, when first my love I dared to speak. How in your glance a dawning ray gave promise of love's perfect day. When, in the ardent breath of noon, the roses with passion swoon, there steals upon me from the air the scent that lurked within your hair. I touch your hand, I clasp your form, again your lips are close and warm. When comes the night, with beauteous skies, I think of your tear-dimmed eyes, their mute entreaty that I stay, although your lips sent me away. And then falls memory's bitter blight, and dark, so dark becomes the night.
The Morning Dawn. Have you stood on the beach and bay, seen the dawn charm the night away, seen it on land and waterfall, wake the people and nature all? To me, there is no greater sight than morning dawn coming daylight on Green Mountain, Bar Harbor, Maine. Seeing it once means then again. Man may copy, but we insist that nature is her own artist, and she has made with nature's hand the whole of Mount Desert Island. It is the state's northeastern isle, nearest to France, a verdure smile, by sea breeze fanned, with waters fed, sweet scented as a garden bed. World's radio, unanchored boat, blueberry trimmed, a colored float, graceful in form, by nature wrought, the restful bloom, forget-me-not. The outline is irregular, fjords, sounds, and bays are here and there, and from great depths mountains rise up, like bubbles on the ocean's cup. The sea is calm, her surf beats low, the tides come in and then out they go. The night is still, and city sleeps, at foot of hill till daylight peeps. The wooded glens hold darkness still, few sounds are heard save whippoorwill, the hoot of owl, the wings of bat, a bark of dog or meow of cat. Over the park above the firs, an airplane soars, we hear its whirs. On many bays sea fish peep out, and ponds awake salmon and trout. In eastern sky first dawn is seen, the lights shunt out on village green, and we must take the roadway main to see the scenes we'll see again. But we must take the gorge between the high mountains of dry and green, a trail so wild and beautiful you'll ask to stop and view it full, and listen to the little brook bending down like a shepherd's crook, a babbling, falling, rippling rill dashing along the green wood hill. Sometimes it's lost under the stones, then out it comes beneath pine cones, foaming, leaping from rock to stone, beating time like a metronome. Its little sheets of feathery foam fall on the tarn silent home, the quiet place for it to rest, sheathed in the shades of the forest, where silver fish are now spawning in the dewy time of morning, and the tall blades of deep green grass drop sapphire gems on them en masse. Up the gorge path and through the pines, whose matted boughs are hung with vines of the wild grape, twisted like lines, are ideal shades for summer times. We fain would rest till day is spent, under cover of such a tent, on mossy stones which stud the way to seat the tired from day to day. Along the trail are man-made camps, some are modern, some antique stamps, Indian-like, quaint, stiff and stark, made of birch poles covered with bark. The morning dawn is drawing near, life is waking everywhere. We pass to right and go up green, while on the left old dry is seen. On top of green at break of day, the splendor seen drives care away, for as you look the shadows flee, and gladness comes to dwell with thee. The U.S. holds this place her spark, proudly names her Lafayette Park. calls old Mount Green the Cadillac, but same impress is coming back. The scenic joy is so profound, from sky and sea and all around, that names are lost in scenes that be. The morning dawn charms you and me. Our souls swell up with deep delight on looking at the wondrous sight. From Cadillac, the top of green, the finest view which eyes have seen. As the light rays are coming back, quaintly creeping through every crack, Dame Nature lifts her drooping head, for life on land and sea is wed. Sunlight opens covered faces, shut up flowers, darkest places, unfolds the buds, crown tints their heads, with glowing joy of newlyweds. 'Tis breeding time of dawning morn, when life anew on earth is born. No greater sight on earth could be, and this is what we came to see. Dewdrops sparkle over the grass, choice plumage birds come flitting past. The eaglets on the mountain crest shake the feathers up on their breast. The sky turns blue, the crimson hue, as morning light comes peeping through, and night fades out with passing years, as dawning wanes and day appears. Landscape beauty around us lies, to welcome light from morning skies. A goodly place have we to stand, and view the sky and sea and land. How much, indeed, one glance affords to thinking eyes when mind records. On looking down just north of east, in joy we start the scenic feast. Our glance goes o'er athletic fields, to honest sports much joy it yields. Strikes Bar Harbor and Frenchman's Bay, crosses the bar to hills that way. Turning our glance to south and west, we see those sights which some like best, the many ponds and mirror lakes, and solemn sound which the ocean makes. The bright rays fall about our feet, our glance turns east and is complete, for it is lost in light of dawn, floating the ocean like a swan. We now shut out each thought of life, forget the world and all its strife, look across the sea into the skies, and day is born before our eyes. Oh, that we had 1,000 eyes to visionize the morning skies, a mind much greater to record the scenes too big for pen or word. The firmament is nature's screen, on which the light superb is seen, as it changes lighter, lighter, ever growing brighter, brighter. Light rays mingling, blending complete, are making it a sparkling sheet. The glassy sea shoots them crisscross, reflecting them so none is lost. The sky's background is purple blue, with many stars still shining through. Vivid sunbeams run o'er it bold, their edges fringed in lucid gold. The horizon's a cord of gold, rounded, twisted all it will hold, with searchlights on its border laid, like fireflies in a tangled gray. The rays come far from eastern skies, to light the world and strike the eyes, and those which fall on the ocean glance and glide with graceful motion, intensified and multiplied by wavelet tides on which they ride. The morning dawn, there is no doubt, heaven's beauty is rounding out. Her firmament is pyro gray, when dawn dissolves to perfect day. On seeing this, it is confessed, the beauty cannot be expressed. We only know that brilliant shades light up and glow earth's everglades, bring forth all life and make it shine, expressing it almost divine. Nature unfolds with living grace, creative light, life's smiling face, changes the soul to brighter ray, from morning dawn to perfect day. And human hearts, touched by such sight, will live and bloom with fervent light, with boundless love and endless store, upon the earth till time's no more. We cannot tell how long it's been since time began or life was seen. We only know that spirit breath awakened then all life from death. Since that first morn 'tis plain to see the dawn repeats for you and me. so we may live, not just exist, upon the earth from obscure mist. We neither know nor can we say, along the dawn on earth shall stay. We only know it is so fine that nature's artist is divine.
Music I love but never strain could kindle raptures so divine, so grief a sigh, so conquer pain, and rouse this pensive heart of mine as that we hear on Christmas morn, upon the wintry breezes borne, though darkness still her empire keep, and hours must pass ere morning break from troubled dreams or slumber deep. That music kindly bids us wake, it calls us with an angel's voice to wake and worship and rejoice, to greet with joy the glorious morn which angels welcomed long ago, when our redeeming Lord was born, to bring the light of heaven below, the powers of darkness to dispel, and rescue earth from death and hell. While listening to that sacred strain, my raptured spirit soars on high. I seem to hear those songs again, resounding through the open sky, that kindled such divine delight in those who watched their flocks by night. With them I celebrate his birth. Glory to God in highest heaven, good will to men and peace on earth. To us a Savior King is given. Our God is come to claim his own, and Satan's power is overthrown. A sinless God for sinful men descends to suffer and to bleed. Hell must renounce its empire then. The price is paid, the world is freed, and Satan's self must now confess that Christ has earned a right to bless. Now holy peace may smile from heaven, and heavenly truth from earth shall spring. The captive's galling bonds are riven, for our Redeemer is our King, and he that gave his blood for men will lead us home to God again.
The sun used to shine while we two walked slowly together, paused and started again, and sometimes mused, sometimes talked as either pleased, and cheerfully parted each night. We never disagreed which gate to rest on. The to-be and the late past we gave small heed. We turned from men or poetry to rumors of the war remote, only till both stood disinclined for aught but the yellow flavorless coat of an apple wasps had undermined, or a century of dark Bethanies, the stateliest of small flowers on earth at the forest verge, or crocuses pale purple as if they had their birth in sunless Hades fields. The war came back to mind with the moonrise, which soldiers in the east afar beheld then. Nevertheless, our eyes could as well imagine the Crusades or Caesar's battles. Everything to faintness, like those rumors, fades, like the brook's water glittering under the moonlight, like those walks now, like us two that took them, and the fallen apples, all the talks and silences, like memory's sand when the tide covers it late or soon, and other men through other flowers in those fields under the same moon go talking and have easy hours.
The cocks have now the morn foretold. The sun again begins to peep. The shepherd, whistling to his fold, unpens and frees the captive sheep. O'er pathless plains at early hours the sleepy rustic sloomy goes. The dews, brushed off from grass and flowers, bemoistening sop his hardened shoes, while every leaf that forms a shade, and every flower its silken top, and every shivering bend and blade stoops, bowing with a diamond drop. But soon shall fly those diamond drops. The red round sun advances higher, and, stretching o'er the mountain tops, is gilding sweet the village spire. 'Tis sweet to meet the morning breeze, or list the gurgling of the brook, or, stretched beneath the shade of trees, peruse and pause on nature's book, when nature every sweet prepares to entertain our wished delay, the images which morning wears, the wakening charms of early day. Now let me tread the meadow paths, while glittering dew the ground eludes, as, sprinkled o'er the withering swaths, their moisture shrinks in sweet perfumes. And hear the beetle sound his horn, and hear the skylark whistling nigh, sprung from his bed of tufted corn, a hailing minstrel from the sky.
Never was sun so bright before, no matin of the lark so sweet, no grass so green beneath my feet, nor with such dewdrops jewelled o'er. I stand with thee outside the door, the air not yet is close with heat, and far across the yellowing wheat the waves are breaking on the shore. A lovely day, yet many such, each like to each, this month have passed, and none did so supremely shine. One thing they lacked, the perfect touch of thee, and thou art come at last, and half this loveliness is thine.
The angel host that sped last night, bearing the wondrous news afar, came in their ever glorious flight unto a slumbering little star. Awake and sing, O star, they cried. Awake and glorify the morn. Herald the tidings far and wide. He that shall lead his flock is born. The little star awoke and sung, as only stars in rapture may, and presently where church bells hung, the joyous tidings found their way. Awake, O bells, 'tis Christmas morn. Awake and let thy music tell to all mankind that now is born what shepherd loves his lambkins well. Then rang the bells as fled the night o'er dreaming land and drowsing deep, and coming with the morning light, they called, my child, to you asleep. Sweetly and tenderly they spoke, and lingering round your little bed, their music pleaded till you woke, and this is what their music said. Awake and sing, 'tis Christmas morn, whereon all earth salutes her King. In Bethlehem is the shepherd born. Awake, O little lamb, and sing. So, dear my child, kneel at my feet, and with those voices from above, share thou this holy time with me, the universal hymn of love.
In the morning of life, when its cares are unknown, and its pleasures in all their new luster begin, when we live in a bright beaming world of our own, and the light that surrounds us is all from within, oh, 'tis not, believe me, in that happy time we can love, as in hours of less transport we may. Of our smiles, of our hopes, 'tis the gay sunny prime, but affection is truest when these fade away. When we see the first glory of youth pass us by, like a leaf on the stream that will never return, when our cup, which had sparkled with pleasure so high, first tastes of the other, the dark flowing urn, then is the time when affection holds sway with a depth and a tenderness joy never knew. Love, nursed among pleasures, is faithless as they, but the love born of sorrow, like sorrow, is true. In climes full of sunshine, though splendid the flowers, their sighs have no freshness, their odor no worth. 'Tis the cloud and the mist of our own isle of showers that call the rich spirit of fragrancy forth. So it is not mid splendor, prosperity, mirth, that the depth of love's generous spirit appears. To the sunshine of smiles it may first owe its birth, but the soul of its sweetness is drawn out by tears.
1. Complacencies of the peignoir, and late coffee and oranges in a sunny chair, and the green freedom of a cockatoo upon a rug, mingle to dissipate the holy hush of ancient sacrifice. She dreams a little, and she feels the dark encroachment of that old catastrophe as a calm darkens among water lights. the pungent oranges and bright green wings seem things in some procession of the dead, winding across wide water without sound. The day is like wide water without sound, stilled for the passing of her dreaming feet over the seas to silent Palestine, dominion of the blood and sepulchre. 2. She hears upon that water without sound a voice that cries, "The tomb in Palestine is not the porch of spirits lingering. It is the grave of Jesus where he lay." We live in an old chaos of the sun, or old dependency of day and night, or island solitude, unsponsored, free, of that wide water, inescapable. Deer walk upon our mountains, and the quail whistle about us their spontaneous cries. Sweet berries ripen in the wilderness, and in the isolation of the sky at evening, casual flocks of pigeons make ambiguous undulations as they sink downward to darkness on extended wings. 3. She says, "I am content when wakened birds before they fly test the reality of misty fields by their sweet questionings. But when the birds are gone and their warm fields return no more, where then is paradise? There is not any haunt of prophecy, nor any old chimera of the grave, neither the golden underground, nor isle melodious where spirits gat them home, nor visionary south, nor cloudy palm remote on heaven's hill that has endured as April's green endures, or will endure like her remembrance of awakened birds, or her desire for June and evening, tipped by the consummation of the swallow's wings." 4. She says, "But in contentment I still feel the need of some imperishable bliss. Death is the mother of beauty. Hence, from her alone shall come fulfillment to our dreams and our desires, although she strews the leaves of sure obliteration on our paths, the path sick sorrow took, the many paths where triumph rang its brassy phrase, or love whispered a little out of tenderness. She makes the willow shiver in the sun for maidens who are wont to sit and gaze upon the grass relinquished to their feet. She causes boys to bring sweet-smelling pears and plums in ponderous piles. The maidens taste and stray impassioned in the littering leaves." 5. Supple and turbulent, a ring of men shall chant in orgy on a summer morn their boisterous devotion to the sun, not as a god, but as a god might be, naked among them like a savage source. Their chant shall be a chant of paradise, out of their blood returning to the sky, and in their chant shall enter, voice by voice, the windy lake wherein their Lord delights, the trees like seraphim, and echoing hills that choir among themselves long afterward. They shall know well the heavenly fellowship of men that perish and of summer morn, and whence they came and whither they shall go, the dew upon their feet shall manifest.